Since we're nice buttons. I've got a group of 5 or 6 books. This one I said. It'll be a nice one.
Get in for any good seconds or anything, or-
Well, we usually get, we all get just a. Yeah, we're gonna do that elk and Brian shot last year is delicious.
Pizzas out.
Huh?
Extra pizzas out.
We did that one time, my neighbor wanted to put bear meat on it. She threw it and she found out, I'll call the meeting to order.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yes, we have one amendment. We need to move item T, Commissioners, number 2, City Law Enforcement Contract, 2K, Sheriff's Department, number 5.
Move to approve the motion by Mike, second by Mike. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Consent agenda.
I will move.
Motion by Mike, second by Schrader. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Any conflict of interest amongst the commissioners? Seeing none today. Start out with public comment. If there's anyone here that has an item they want to bring forward, you're welcome to do so. We can't act upon it today, but we're willing to listen to any concerns. We ask that you limit it to about 3 minutes. Is there anyone that wants to bring something forward? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just back. I was here 2 weeks ago, talked to you guys about the right-of-way excavation that occurred in our road district. And waiting I sent you guys an email asking again, copied Tracy on it. I didn't hear anything back from anybody, so. I got another neighbor that's asking, can he dig across the road and share a well with his neighbor, because he doesn't have one. And if there's gonna be no reason for stopping it. I understand from the last meeting, you guys have an ordinance that says they need to come and get a permit signed off by the county highway department. But if they violate that, there's no penalty. Costs about $30,000 to $50,000 to put a well in. And if there's no penalty for just violating the right of way, people can just dig where they want. That's my question.
Did you have anything on it, Tracy?
So I got communicated just briefly with Terry and Jesse. We haven't had a chance to really sit down. I will get back to him by the end of the week, but I know one of the questions was your 811. That has nothing to do with the county. That's a state issue and a state board, but
Yep.
but I'll shoot you an email, I'll give you a call by the end of the week.
The primary concern is that I don't know how the job was done. Supposedly, if you get a permit, it's supposed to be inspected. They're supposed to do it the right way, bed the water line, put in the tracer wire, register it with GIS so that in the future, if somebody comes in there and starts digging, they know the water line is there. To my knowledge, none of that work has been done. The trench is all filled in. So I need an answer, and I keep getting bounced back and forth between the state DOT, the state attorney general, you guys. I mean, do I just tell my neighbors, go ahead, do what you're gonna do, don't tell me about it?
Tracy needs that too.
Okay.
Anyone else? Finance officer.
Okay, the June 2026 financials update. Our revenues were 1,918,065.28. Our expenses were 1,007,107.33. Register of deeds, 19,949.50. Sheriff's Office, 2,541.34. Clerk of Courts, 8,041.15, and motor vehicle, 126,294.97. The treasurer's checks that were written were 465,151.17. The end cash balance was 7,816,819.34. And a couple revenues that we did receive last month was PILT in the amount of 1,275,000. Claims Associates, the insurance company, 32,000. Wildland Fire, 65,000. That's all I have.
Did you need an approval, Don, or is it an acknowledgement or anything?
Acknowledgement.
Acknowledgement.
Is that PILT money is that PILT money limited to highway?
No, it goes straight into your general fund.
It goes in.
Yeah.
Okay. Highway Department.
Oh,
No, we
and
said
then I need an approval for advertising for the deputy auditor's position and election position with updated job descriptions. They both will start at $19.04.
Motion by Mike, second by Mike. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Now we go to the Highway Department.
Good morning. Good morning, Jess.
Commissioner, I have a couple of right-of-way occupancy requests. The first one is from Golden West for a fiber optic service install at 11818 Pleasant Valley Road. It is my recommendation to approve that.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion by Mark, second by Mike. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same.
Second one is a right-of-way occupancy request from Black Hills Electric Co-op for overhead power crossing of 18 Mile Road. That's gonna be just off of the highway down there where 18 Mile Road makes an L, or head straight west. There's a guy that's got a little lot down there giving power to. It's overhead. My recommendation is to approve.
Motion by Mike, second by Craig. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same.
Third item I placed on the agenda certainly might be, you guys might want to table this. I'm not sure. I would just like the commission to give me an answer on the Schedule A acceptance.
And Jessica, that was one of the things I put on for executive session
And that's
today,
totally,
so,
that's totally fine.
because I wanted you to be here. to
Yep.
Talk about it. Okay. So should we
You want to
move
go
to
back-
table until
Table
after?
to, or postpone till after, or table, yes, sorry. Move to table till after executive session.
Motion by Mike, second by Mark. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, the same.
That's all I have, guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jess.
Okay, Polly.
I'm Lane Moser. I'm president of Big Medicine Road District. And I talked to you a couple times during planning, or once during planning and once at a county commission meeting. I still have a big concern about water. I know there's no legal avenue that can be taken out of it. It's a state issue. I do have concern about water, and I hope someday that as a county that we take a serious look at how the water issues are being handled in your county. And I met with the attorney, and there's some laws that are not being followed as far as the subdivision goes. My son Brad here is going to read the correspondence with the attorney.
This is correspondence from Gunderson Palmer Nelson National LLP. Dear Mr. Noser, as the president of Big Medicine Road District, we request a review of a pending plat of land that is within the boundaries of Big Medicine Road District to determine what legal issues may arise. You provided me various background and facts that I will reiterate here. If I misstate or misconstrue anything, please let me know. Within the district boundaries, the district controls and maintains a road called War Bonnet Road. This is a public road that the district has maintained for some years. The road currently does not meet county specifications for a public road. There exists a limited number of homes within the district. A landowner with the district has approximately 50 acres and is proposing to subdivide the 50 acres into 10 5-acre lots and has commenced infrastructure work to accomplish the subdivision. The infrastructure work that the developer is currently undertaking is constructing 2 cul-de-sac roads off of War Bonnet into the 50 acres that will be used to provide access to the various lots. The developer has not requested an approach permit from the district. The developer has not provided the district any plans. The district has no knowledge of how any culvert sizes or road specifications were determined. These 10 lots will use War Bonnet Road and will put substantially more use and impact on that road beyond the current homes and large landowners' use of the road. The district is unsure of what standards the roads being constructed are being built to and are concerned that with War Bonnet not meeting county specifications, the road will deteriorate given the higher use, while the developer will be able to sell his lots and push the cost of bringing the road up to specification onto the district homeowners. Moreover, you are concerned that the district will end up being obligated to maintain 2 roads being built by the developer and the cul-de-sac associated with these roads, given that they are dedicated to public rights of way that appear on the plat as public right of way or public right of ways and are within the district's boundaries. Thus, the plat may result in the county requiring the road district to assume additional responsibilities, while the tax base of the road district already is not adequate to maintain War Bonnet. Based on these facts, you have inquired as to what the rights of the road district might be in this situation. As a threshold matter, SDCL 11-3-12.1 appears not to have yet been followed in this situation. That statute provides as follows: 11-3-12.1. Approval of access to street or highway prerequisite to filing plat. The owner of any parcel of land proposing to develop such land for residential or commercial purposes shall obtain written approval of the proposed access to an abutting highway or street from the appropriate highway or street authority. The approval shall be obtained prior to filing of the plat in accordance with this chapter and may not replace the need for any permits required by law. As the road district controlling War Bonnet, the district is the political subdivision that, pursuant to state statute, may approve the access to War Bonnet by written approval or signing off on the plat as the appropriate highway authority. One may technically argue that the road district does not have to be informed of the need to sign off on the plat until after the plat is approved by the county. However, certainly the district must be involved before the access is being constructed. The above referenced statute specifically states that the owner of the parcel, here the developer, shall obtain written approval of the proposed access to an abutting highway or street from the appropriate highway or street authority. The failure to obtain approval for the proposed access supports a denial of the plat, or refusal by the district to sign off on the plat, or approval or approve the access. The road district is not obligated to sign off on a plat or access approved by a county government. The logical purpose of having the entity is in control of the road signing off on access or plat is to ensure that the road being accessed by the new lots is sufficient to handle the traffic. The sight lines are acceptable, proper culverts are installed, the approach is properly constructed, ensure that the road is properly built, driveways properly placed, etc. A common requirement of a highway entity signing off on a plat or approving access is that existing roads, the new lots will access be brought up to required specifications. I have noted that the Custer County Highway Department has specifications for roads that have also been adopted by the Board of Commissioners. This requires minimum diameter culverts of 18 inches that may be adjusted depending on drainage, highway markers, requirements on ditching, shoulder requirements, and a 24-foot driving surface for high-volume roads, one serving more than 25 dwelling units. I am unsure of how Custer County counts dwelling units, but in other counties, this is generally determined by counting the number of potential lots of the plat and any existing lots. In situations where you have less than 25, the county specifications call for a 20-foot driving surface. The driving surface then has certain base requirements. Furthermore, one does not stop the design of the road or design off the road, as drainage should be reviewed to avoid possibilities of inundation of the road by runoff from homes as they are developed and to ensure the free flow of water through the area. A road district can require higher standards than a county does for roads within the boundaries of the district. The district could do this by setting regulations or a resolution or a pattern and practice of requirements. Still, it is my understanding that you have reviewed the specifications and Ward Bonnet does not meet county specifications in a number of ways. Based on this, given my experience with other jurisdictions, generally one would see a developer adding that many more houses in an area be required to bring Ward Bonnet up to county specifications prior to the governmental entity in charge of the road approving access or signing off on the plat. Further, the entity in charge of highways can require engineering plans for the road being built and design plans. It can be required that the developer pay the fee of engineer review of the plans by the governmental entity. Ensuring highway requirements are met often requires inspections to be accomplished by a member of or inspector of the governmental entity that will have responsibility for the roads in the future. Again, these inspection costs are generally levied against the developer who is receiving the benefit of separating the land to sell at higher per acre rates, and in doing so causing additional pressure on the existing infrastructure. In addition to these possible measures, the entity controlling the road may refuse to permit access where the subdivision creates more traffic than the governmental entity determines can be supported by the infrastructure, or restrict the number of lots that can access the road to ensure long-term viability of the road. Additionally, while not as direct as the absolute requirement of SDCL 11-3-12.1, state law does appear to allow county to burden a road district with additional roads without the road district's assent. See SDCL 31-12A-5.2. To the extent the creation of additional roads within the boundaries of a road district may do so raises legal concerns. Finally, although you did not directly inquire regarding the section lines, I note in the proposed plat that there are various section lines that are being platted over by the proposed plat. Section lines are state established public highways. When I inquire of you, you stated you are not aware of any petition for vacating the section lines being filed. That would seem to be consistent with the plat, as it shows the section lines are unimpacted by any vacation action. There's a question under the state law as to whether the section line public highways within a road district become the jurisdiction of a road district. In any case, even if the lots are platted over the top of the section lines, absent a vacation of the section lines, they remain open to public traffic. We ask that you put this into your appendix.
So, just to follow up with that, we'd like a request as a road district to meet with the developer and address these issues. And that's pretty much all, kind of sums it up.
Commissioner, have any questions?
Thanks. I don't have any questions.
I don't have any response to this as of hearing just now.
Yes, understood.
You got anything, Tracy, or?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously haven't seen that prior to today. I mean, so I don't have a response to that. I don't think it's unreasonable for the developer and the road district to sit down. I guess one of the questions I have is, have you guys developed any regulations that would exceed the county regulations as far as culverts and then approaches? If you haven't developed any, then it kind of reverts to the county's specs. But those are something that the road district does have the authority to put those type of regulations in place. But if you don't have them in place, that's something you guys need to think about going forward. So again, that's for a future issue, not really this issue. But yeah, I don't really have a response for that. I don't think that because I think is a plat on the agenda today.
Yes.
So it probably wouldn't hurt to maybe table it to give that opportunity. Have you guys reached out at all to this point to the developer?
We've been to planning and,
I'm not asking about meetings, but I'm asking, have you guys reached out to the developer?
No.
And tried to sit down with the developer?
no. John Parker.
May I?
No.
I'm Scott Jones. I'm president of an adjoining road district, Renegade Pass. At the last planning meeting, we, Mark Nielsen and John, Terry Lent and Rich Snow and I out here did. We asked for an opportunity to meet with him, to address road concerns, repairs, anything that would happen. And it's all on my phone. I've got notes, but we have reached out to try to speak with him. We've been a little busy. It kind of escalated, or what I felt was an escalation. But again, I understand so eloquently that John can do as he pleases to develop that land, and I respect that. But for the future road maintenance, yes, we have, or at least Renegade did, to meet with him. We also have something in writing that we would like to present to him to find a balance. So we're looking for good faith, a little bit of respect on both parts. We're not looking for a fight, but yes, we would like an opportunity to sit down and chit chat.
Jerry? Yeah.
Presently, currently, I think there's a subdivision going in right off Renegade Pass that's in Renegade subdivision. I don't believe they've contacted the people who are subdividing to ask them about their road requirements. And I think the other, before that, we also did a split off on the Renegade district. And there was no comments from the district at that time.
We will reach out to you.
Okay, thank you. Planning department.
Morning, Commissioners. The first one that comes to you is a request of the final plat of lots A through J of Big Medicine subdivision. Applicant deed holder is John Parker. The final plat is proposing a 10-parcel subdivision. Lot A will be 5.77 acres, lot B will be 5.70 acres, lot C, D, and E will be 5 acres, lot F will be 5.08 acres, lot G and H will be 5 acres, lot I will be 4.16 acres, and lot J will be 5.04 acres. Lots A, C, E, G, and I, access is from War Bonnet Road, which is a 66-foot wide public access. Lots B, D, F, H is from 2 new 66-foot wide public access utility easements dedicated with this plat.
Lot J, access to Renegade Pass, which is a 66-foot wide public access and utility easement. This plat was sent out for comments from the interim review committee in June, it was presented and approved on July 7th by the planning commission. And the planning commission's recommending the board grant final approval contingent upon the highway signature on the Mylar.
Can you show us the road district roads that we, since there's 2 or 3 of them? This one.
There's one quick question. Jess?
Yep.
Do we have an ordinance you're supposed to sign those plats before meetings?
Not that I know of.
Have to look into that. Yeah.
My understand, I went through some questions with Tracy years ago on the true meaning of my signature block on a plat. As I understand it, my signing a plat does not necessarily mean that that's what is going on the ground. The plat is the plat. What's on the ground is on the ground. The plat, my signature on a plat is simply stating there appears to be access according to the plat information. Did everybody follow that? My signature doesn't say, yep, the roads meet spec. It's just saying this plat has access for everyone.
So Tracy, I have a question. You said if they don't have established road standards prior to this, I mean, we can't hold up the plat. At this point, we would have to go with the county's road standards.
Well, the roads, yeah, I mean, the county road standards would apply if they haven't adopted anything stricter. So it's, and I don't know that they have any approach standards at all. I don't know what that situation is. I don't know in the planning process if Jesse's reviewed it as far as the roads within the subdivision, as far as drainage issues or you know, anything of that with relation to roads. I don't know any of that.
Well, we do have that from the highway for the county road standards. It's all been signed off on. Everything meets the county road standards. So that's what I'm asking.
The current does.
The current does. Everything.
No, that's for the newly built roads. That's for the roads tied to this plat.
Does that include War Bonnet then?
No, it does not. War Bonnet was put in a long time ago. The road standards were different. I don't assess roads that are responsibility of a road district.
Tracy, we'll have our meeting minutes to you tomorrow, if you'd like us to do that. Our War Bonnet meeting minutes that address all of these
So what was
things.
the other two plats?
Did you adopt any rules or ordinances or anything?
We just specified what our concerns were and what we wanted people to follow. So we should have that to you tomorrow to read through.
I can certainly look at it. It's,
Okay.
I mean, it's not going to have, I think it's a little too late for this situation, but
I'll give them to
it
you.
definitely needs to be something considered by road districts going forward, not just your road district, but all road districts going forward.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
There's a silver lining on this whole topic for me, because I think road districts are it's finally hitting road districts what it costs to maintain roads. And I've seen out of 67, I think, is that what we're up to, Dawn?
I think so, yeah.
Somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah, yeah.
I've seen road districts who do a really, really, really good job of using their tax funds to put into their roads. And I've also seen road districts who use it as a tax rebate system. And I hear the snicker, but that does happen. I cannot encourage road districts enough to take those are tax dollars that you are receiving. You're taking that money away from highway funding and putting it towards your own roads. If you're not spending that money on your road, you're going to be behind. You are absolutely going to fall behind. So in this case, let's say the commissioners decide to go ahead and pass this, approve this plat. If you never touch those 2 new roads again, which by the way, you're gonna be adding revenue to your road district. If you never touch them again, they're gonna look like War Bonnet Road. Okay? Because I had to drive War Bonnet Road to get to the 2 new roads. And I cannot express to everyone in the room, because the grass has grown in and only given you a 10-foot wide travel way, does not mean that the road doesn't necessarily meet the specification. There is nothing in the road specification about grass. And low traffic roads have a tendency to grow in with grass. Where the contractor worked on his new roads in that area, the trucks coming and going actually churned up some of the grass on the driving surface of the road that is there. And you can see gravel where the road used to be. I physically drove my pickup on the west side of War Bonnet Road entirely in the grass that is mowed by lawnmowers and was still on the road. So in this case, I'd heard somebody say, well, they wrecked the road, they wrecked War Bonnet Road, putting in the new roads. I disagree wholeheartedly. They did not wreck it. They exposed what should be exposed anyway. Road districts need to step up their game. They truly do. They need to follow the rules that the state has put forth in reporting what you've done with those tax dollars and actually fix your roads. At this point, I'm ready to recommend to the commission that the county develop a resolution that Custer County has absolutely nothing to do with any road district, nothing. I've tried to help road districts, and that always comes back and bites me in the butt at some point. Just because I feel a responsibility to help the taxpayers out there. But it turns into a community, a small subdivision argument, neighbors among neighbors. Well, Jeff said this. No, he didn't. He said this. I hear it all the time. Welcome to road maintenance, folks. You're seeing what I face every day. There's only so much money out there. Thank you, guys.
There are only 3 homes on our road district. We put in enough money to make sure there's no washing. We maintain it ourselves. We would rather do that than wait for the county to come and supposedly way back to us fix it. So we put in enough money with our 3 with our 3 homeowners, and we fixed it. We have skid loaders. We do not want the county involved because you guys wouldn't do the job we do. No, period. Does anyone else agree with that?
No.
So you're telling me War Bonnet Road looks better than a county maintained road?
It's easier to drive on. And
I think we're getting off track. I think we're getting off track.
I don't believe we should hold this flat up. I think they've done everything like everybody else has in the past, so make a motion to approve this plat. I would recommend that John Parker visit with the 2 road districts involved, sit down, come to an agreement of some sort.
we would rather have you wait with passing it.
I'm making a motion right now.
Until we meet with John Parker.
And I know we have this, but we can make it continue to follow the road, being all brought up and everything, just to make sure. Just making sure the road's all signed off the county specs.
Of course.
Yeah. Motion by Craig.
I'll second it.
Second by Mike. Any further discussion?
And I will say, according to this attorney's letter, that they are taking on additional road responsibilities with less money, but that is incorrect. You'll have 9 more people paying in. So
You know
you'll
what,
have
the
way more
fee
money.
is $50 a year.
It's still, I'm saying this is
So,
incorrect.
wow,
This
that's
is
a lot of money.
incorrect. So. we
Well,
have-
that's set by you folks.
That's right, and we control it and we maintain it.
Well, you can-
We bring the gravel in.
Okay, I'll call.
So so my question then, are those cul-de-sacs, are in that subdivision, are they connected to the road district? Do we have to maintain them?
they're in your district. If they're in your district, you got control over them and you got the revenue from them.
Right, but the cul-de-sac, the road leading off of Warlock. So
That's more road.
That's touch screen.
So those cul-de-sacs, to me, are driveways to
No,
get
it's
to those
public
properties.
Public right away, those will be part of the road district.
Okay. So we have to adopt them then,
You have
for
to-
road district.
Petition him.
And so if we decide not to, I guess we'll have to go forward with our attorney and see what our next steps are. If you guys want to slam this through, then we'll have to take more legal steps because you're obviously not following state laws. And so I don't know why,
I would talk to your attorney.
I don't
He's
know
probably
why-
looking for more billable hours.
I don't know, yeah, I don't know why.
Stop over the.
Okay, right, we're gonna move on.
Can I address the section line? They are, he is making a section line on there, but we're waiting for the plat to go through so that we have a legal description to attach to the section line with the resolution. So he will be coming in to get the petition to vacate the section line on the property.
Call for vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Okay. move
And I'm
on.
disappointed about the comment about slamming it through. You guys were at the planning meeting, we treat everybody the same, we have the same ordinance we followed for years. This is not being slammed through.
It is because you're not concerned about water and you're not concerned about possibly 50 homes up there going up and down Renegade and Warbach. So
The next one I have for you.
I don't
request
appreciate
Of a
you
final
guys not
plat
concerned about the public.
of lot 8A and lot 8B of Hartland County Ranch subdivision. Applicant and deed holder is Brian and Sean Baker. This final plat is proposing a lot split. Lot 8A will be 8.39 acres. Lot 8B will be 9.61 acres. Access to both lots from Watson Road, which is a 66-foot wide public right of way. This plat was sent out for comment from the engineer review committee in June, presented and approved on July 7th by the planning commission. The planning commission recommends the board grant final approval. Upon the signature on the Mylar.
So moved.
Motion by Mark, second by Craig. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same.
Next I have for you is a request of a final plat of lot 5A and 5B of HDS number 528. Applicant and deed holder is Brian and Lois Fairfield. They are proposing a lot split. Lot 5A will be 9.32 acres, lot 5B will be 6.13 acres. Access to both lots is from West Creek Road, which is a 66-foot wide public right of way. This plat was sent out for comments from the engineer review committee in June. It was presented and approved on July 7th by the planning commission. The planning commission recommends the board for final approval. Contingent on the legal signature on the Mylar.
I'll make the motion. Motion by Mike. Second by Mike. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same.
The next one I have, we are working with Hermosa for the ETJ agreement that was for the 1 mile. I would just ask permission to send this to Aaron Davis and Tracy Kelly to review. before you guys.
I think it's a good idea.
Thank you.
Okay, human resources.
I'm not human resources. I put it under the thing. So we had a department head meeting with them. And one of the requests that we wanted to make was that as we're putting our budgets together, if you guys would schedule a work session with department heads in advance of that so that we can kind of ask the questions we need concerning budgets for next year, about staffing, about potential cuts or things in budgets and what you guys are looking at, have a better understanding going into the budget hearings. Maybe to make it a little smoother this year. Last year was really kind of disjointed and we're just trying to
to find a better mix that allows everyone to work together and again, tournaments, having a better understanding where you guys are coming from and what you're looking for.
Like a work session at the next meeting.
We'll win with the budgets or whatever.
Well, it's like get on this. All that information.
But
Another thing on the
anytime
days.
between now and then would be great.
And I think it's a great idea because it's super hard for the commission to deal with department heads because one commissioner can't discuss with them or two, and then three's too many, so that way we can all come together and discuss it at once.
And I just think it helps foster communication with staff and department heads of the commission and everyone to think. So that I'm proposing on behalf of.
I think it's an excellent ideas.
That's all I have.
Good, thank you, Tracy.
Sheriff's Department.
Good morning. Good morning, there.
Morning, Derek.
Well, let's start with the easy one here. Recently, we had a public meeting in the courthouse, and afterwards, some citizens hung around for a while. The question was posed to me, was how long do we let them stay in the courthouse after the courthouse is closed? And my response was, that's a good question. I don't know. They didn't cause any issues, and that's not why I'm here. I'm just looking for some guidance from the commission on what you guys see would be an appropriate time frame to put a limit on it after a public meeting, after hours and business hours, outside normal business hours, when if people were still hanging around, that we would ask them just to step outside to continue their discussion.
Well, it affects you a lot more than it affects us. What's your recommendation?
Well, you know, I don't think that 30 minutes is a crazy amount of time. You know, if you have a meeting on that and you have some big topics discussed, stepping outside, especially since we're in South Dakota, you know, it could be raining, it could be hailing, it could be very cool outside. I think it being them to discuss it, but I'm open for a direction from you guys on what you would think would be appropriate.
I think that'd be point too, and that they should at best case start working their way out. So, yeah, especially after hours, if no one's available to get around here to do.
Yeah. Okay.
Agreed.
Okay, second thing on the agenda is I'm looking for authorization to hire a part-time as needed deputy. So one thing that's been, I don't know why, but unique to this year is that we have long-term prisoners in the jail that have been repeatedly needed to be transported up here for court. And so the last several court days, we have had to bring out extra staffing in order to complete these transports because they're more than two. So we need at least 2 deputies, 2 vehicles going up to get them. What that's done is it's left us short in staffing later in the days on other days and later in the afternoon on those days. And so Jeff McGraw, who retired several months ago, actually put in an application several months ago saying that he'd be willing to work part-time as needed to help out with court and such, or other things if they needed it. And I know Marty sat on it for a while because we didn't necessarily need it at that time. I've sat on it for a little bit, but I think the time is come that we could need that help. Historically, we've used reserves, but historically also we've had reserves that are retired, and that's not the case right now. And so that's what I'm looking for.
You've been super busy, I should say, and I would be for hiring a part-time deputy. You need a motion on that, or are we doing it under the next one there?
However, yeah, that's a legal question.
I guess, yeah, because it's more or less on there twice. Yeah, that's what I mean, yeah. Make a motion on the second one.
Agree.
Did
you want to bring up?
So the second aspect of that is, if authorized to hire a part-time as needed deputy, I'm asking for the acknowledgement of the hiring of Jeff McGraw, part-time as needed, at an unbenefited position of $30.70 an hour. I spoke with Amber about that rate. That is the highest paid deputy rate, and Jeff McGraw would sit that based on his time and experience both in law enforcement as an employee. It is unbenefited.
Motion by Mike, second by Craig. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same.
Okay. Number 4. So this is another thing that I didn't necessarily want to come to the commission to talk about. But number 4, I'm asking for authorization to hire a full-time deputy, and there's a little bit of background to this. So, since the ending of the city contract, we have been learning what it's like to actively work with 3.5 less deputies. And we've been doing it, but we are running all over the place. And we have been very busy recently. I've been very busy recently, and we're still covering the city of Custer without a contract. And so, yes, we're not enforcing city ordinances, but we are here enforcing felonies, enforcing other crimes, and that is happening. Now, that in and of itself is not why I'm 100% why I'm here to talk to you about that, because yes, we could use another deputy. The other aspect to it is that we recently did interviews for the other open position we had to fill the school resource officer, and we got 2 good applicants. The first applicant is a certified deputy. He is certified through a tech school, so he is not going to need to go through law enforcement training. However, he doesn't have law enforcement experience yet because he's just getting into this. And so he will have to go through our full FTO program, which is 3 months. We have offered him a conditional letter, and he's accepted it. Timing on this commission meeting didn't get me up to get him approved for hire, but that'll happen next week. We have a second applicant who is not certified, but he is a resident of the city of Custer here. He has a criminal justice degree, and he is a good applicant. And so we have spoken with him and let him know that we would like him. However, we do not have a position at this time. And he said, that's okay, I'll wait. And that was the same way that I got hired here, is that they hired another deputy instead of me. And Rick Wheeler reached out to me and said, hey, I like you. You get an open position. If you still would like your job, I'll reach out to you. And so that's the position that he's sitting in right now. But with how we've been responding and back and forth with the county, I mean, yesterday was a good example of that, where we were running all over the place. I'm asking to hire another deputy.
Well, I'm okay with that.
I see someone that you have good to go.
Yes.
And I'm hoping, I know it's on the next topic on the agenda, but I'm hoping we can figure possibly something out with the city. We'll see how that goes. It's still on some shaky ground there, but
I think we need to definitely overwhelm them, especially trying to cover the whole county. Trying not to go back the way things were. So I'll make the motion for the position in sheriff's department.
Motion by Craig,
I'll second it.
second by Mike. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same.
Thank you. Okay, number 5. So typically we've, the city law enforcement contract has been on the agenda for several times now. And we typically have since this is due to contract negotiations, we typically talk about it in executive session. Without going into the weeds too much, basically I've had several conversations with the public that's very interested in what's occurring with this contract. And so in the spirit of openness, I wanted to do this in open session here to talk about it. So, a little background is that we've been in negotiations with the city of Custer for approximately a year, back and forth. That stalled out for some time, and it looked like there was not going to be a contract or future conversations. I reached out to I reached out to the mayor, I reached out to city council members, some pre-city council members who are now city council members, and had some discussions with them on trying to kickstart this in the name of public safety in some way, shape, or form. And I've always been under the standpoint, and I think that I can even speak when Marty was here, sheriff, that we've been under the standpoint that we have two options. Is one, we're willing to contract with the city of Custer if you come to an agreement, and the other option is that if the city of Custer decides not to contract with the sheriff's office, we are 100% there to support them in developing their own police department. So the city sent us a potential contract a few weeks ago, and that had some terms in it that it looked good, but it had some terms in it financially that would potentially put us back in the same situation we were at the end of this last contract with a flat rate fee across the board. So the counter offer that came from the commission and that I liked had some steps in it, and to keep that going up financially. And so we received a letter yesterday from the city of Custer that they agreed to those step ups, and they liked how that sounded, and with some minor tweaking. However, there is a statement in the response from the city of Custer that I'll read. And it says the city's agreement to the financial framework is contingent on the parties reaching agreement on the full written contract, including an appropriate scope of services. In particular, the city requests that the scope of services provide for 24/7 coverage upon signing, consistent with the terms of parties' previous contract, which includes strong visibility and presence within the city. While the city understands the sheriff's staffing concerns, this most material provision cannot be substituted for precatory language in the hope that someday the sheriff may be able to provide regular coverage within the city. I have been, Sheriff McKaylee and now I have been very, very open in this whole thing that the amount of staffing that we had at the end of that contract was not enough to provide the city with 24-hour coverage, and that the county outside of the city was not receiving the proper patrol time that it needed and deserved. And so in conversations with the city, I've had that steady point that at this current level, because the contract where we've reduced ourselves 3.5 positions, I physically cannot provide 24-hour coverage to the city of Custer. And when we talked to the city, when we had a work session, I made it very clear that if I was that starting this contract, we would 100% take over law enforcement capabilities. We would take over enforcing city ordinances immediately. We would take over full responses. However, I could not provide 24-hour coverage until staffing allowed for it. And I said that at that time, that if I can get back to the level in which we were, we would at that time look at beginning to staff 24 hours. And then by the time 100% passed there, once we reach full staff, we'd be providing 24-hour coverage. And the 6 deputies that I'm asking for to do that would be scheduled specifically for the city of Custer. So they would not be intermingled with the county coverage, so that we can provide properly for both. So if I were to accept on my aspect, and that's what I can talk about, is not necessarily financial aspect, which is on the commission. But if I would accept this, that would mean that I would have to dedicate 6 deputies to doing those patrols here in the city of Custer, which would leave me with 6, including myself, to patrol the rest of the county, almost 1,600 square miles. I can't do that. The reality is that I have duties that it does not allow me to patrol the streets 24 hours a day. The same goes with Lieutenant Clevenger, who has to oversee communications, and there's a lot of back stuff that happens that is admin duties that must be done, which means that if I accept this contract and say, yes, I can do this, I would have 4 deputies to patrol the county. 4 deputies. So if you live in the county, there'd be 4 of us. Days off, vacation, sick leave, training, you might see a deputy out patrolling once a day. Because Custer County is not, we can't do that. It's not even a ballpark for that. So I just wanted to explain all that and say that this is a non-starter for me on this. I can't do the contract with this provision in it. And so I don't know where we go from negotiations with this at this point. I'm willing to do that contract and take over law enforcement's, capabilities right away upon signing, but 24-hour coverage, it's a non-starter. I can't do it, and I'm letting you guys know I can't do it. I'm letting the public know I can't do it.
Thank you, Derek, and that is a big part. We said it from the beginning when we were getting to the end of the contract negotiations the first time, that we were being put in a position where without a contract, we couldn't hire people, and then if we couldn't hire people, we wouldn't be able to take it right back on immediately, so.
In my visiting with the mayor and Peg, Ryan, I was under the assumption they understood that, so I'm hoping there's just a little miscommunication there between their legal team and the city council. So that's kind of the way the money was set up to, as Peg explained to me, the prorating for 26 and then the 600 flat fee for 27. So hopefully we can work through that. So.
Thank you, Perfect, Derek.
Yeah, I think it's unrealistic of the city to request that, knowing that we had to cut staff. We don't just magically create more staff. So I think that needs to be addressed.
Hopefully, like I said, we'll get it worked out. We'll be in more discussions, so.
Let's take 5 minutes. Have a vote. Resolution 2610.
So commissioners, I provided that to you last meeting, and I spoke a little bit about it. And for the audience that's listening that doesn't know what it is that in South Dakota, in the South Dakota retirement system, SDRS, there are two levels of retirements. There are Class A and Class B. Class A is a longer retirement system than Class B. Class B is set up for first responders, public safety positions, first responders, and judges. And the idea is, or the basis behind it is that we pay more into the system due to the stress and physical nature of the jobs leading to burnout and other things, that we have a younger retirement age at 55. 911 dispatchers have not historically been included in this as Class B, they're Class A. 911 dispatchers deal with a lot, and I can go into a lot of detail, but I'm just going to hit on an incident that occurred here last night. So just after 7:30, our 911 center received a 911 call from a female citizen who reported that she was in her house, it was on fire, and she couldn't get out. So as dispatch stayed on the line with her, it was in Battle Creek's area, and Battle Creek is dispatched by Pennington County 911. So the call was forwarded to Pennington County 911, but which is pretty common, our dispatch stays on the line with her. So our dispatchers, along with Pennington County dispatchers, stayed on the line with her until she took her last breath, and that's difficult. So the reason asking for this is that dispatch puts up with as much, if not more, than what we do in the field. And I've always said that it's more difficult to hear it on the phone and then not get that closure to see what happened. And that's what happens a lot. So I'm asking that you guys support with this resolution, recommending that they be moved to Class B members.
I'll move to approve resolution 2026-10.
Motion by Mark, second by Craig. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same.
Thank you.
Thank you.
County nurse.
So nurses are able to make it at these ones, but they do plan on having someone at the January 2027 meeting for their final 2026 report. So this is the report for January, February, March, April, May, and June 2026. And this is for the public health nursing services. So maternal and child health program. In Custer County, the pregnancy care program connects pregnant women with a registered nurse who provides personalized education, support, monthly health checkups, maternal depression screenings, and assists them in obtaining referrals for additional care that may be needed. We continue to refer families who qualify to Women, Infant, and Children, WIC, and the Bright Start programs. As part of this program, our office is committed to promoting safe infant sleep and vehicle safety education to families. If we determine that an infant needs a safe sleeping arrangement or car seat, our office can provide these items to the families. We can provide portable cribs known as a cribette, or a convertible car seat from birth up to 65 pounds, allowing for both front-facing and rear-facing use. Additionally, high back and no back booster seats are available for children who are at least 4 years old and weigh a minimum of 80 pounds. We also encourage more families to take advantage of the other services available to children, such as basic oral health assessments and fluoride varnish treatment, hearing and vision screenings, along with developmental ASQ/SE screenings. So then, as for immunization activities, in Custer County, we continue to offer the Vaccines for Children VFC program, The VFC vaccines are available for children up to 18 years old who are underinsured, have no insurance, are on Medicaid, or are Alaska Native or American Indian. This program offers vaccines to eligible children at little to no cost to their families. We also provide vaccines for children who have an in-network insurance provider. We are proud to report that our immunization coverage rate for children 19 to 47 months old remains 100%. For school health activities, we continue to provide school hours at Custer School, Elk Mountain, and Hermosa. In February, we provided a maturation presentation for the girls in 4th grade and the boys in 5th grade at the Custer Elementary School. General public health office activities. In March, we participated in the Black Hills Electric Cooperative Health Fair by offering hearing assessments to employees. It was a fun experience and a great way to meet a need in the local community. We are gearing up for the upcoming school year. We will start our annual efforts on school immunization audits. We are also scheduling dates for Custer County Schools to provide hearing, vision, and oral student assessments, respectively submitted by Jackie Waldner, RN. And then also the WIC nurse, Christy, submitted her WIC. So Lori emailed saying, I've been asked by Christy to provide the enclosed information to the Custer County Commissioners. Christy was at the January in-person meeting and the information she provided was very well received. She would like to let the county know that the WIC program continues to support many within the county and is appreciative of the office provided locally. So this is the information for the WIC program itself. So the WIC program, administered by the South Dakota Department of Health, provides eligible participants with nutritious foods, nutrition education, and support services to ensure the well-being of the mothers and young children. The program focuses on addressing nutritional deficiencies, promoting healthy eating habits, and preventing health problems related to inadequate nutrition. Dollars provided to clients are usually spent within the county. As of July 1st, 2026, the new income guidelines were released for WIC eligibility, which is this attached flyer. And this is respectively submitted by Christine Novotny, RN, South Dakota Department of Health, Southwest Case Manager for Custer and Fall River counties. And she also provided that the family served is 65, total participants is 97, and dollars provided to clients spent locally was $15,000 from November 2025 to April 2026. And she said, I know this is late and we understand that you may have to hold, oh, no, that part doesn't matter. She got it under herself. That was it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Morning.
Morning, Scott.
We just got a quick little abatement to ask for. This is Oklahoma, all these properties down there, Jessica brought us that week ago. We're asking to abate the taxes from 2014 to 25. Tax asking for $365.40 a year.
And what's the reasoning for the abatement?
So this, I'll show you.
Thank you.
So this, here's the trailer, siding's off of it, roof's off of it, it's just a mess.
Looks like a picture of it.
Yeah, boy. I'm pretty sure I can hook you up. It's on Dolly's land, we all know what Dolly's is. Will and Lisa want to clean it up, but they don't own it, still under Carol Osborne's. City of Pringle wants to, do a joint effort and everything, but they're not willing, I don't think the city of Pringle's willing to go to the sheriff's auction and buy something for $1 that's not taxing. So that's why we're kind of doing it a little bit backwards, so hopefully you guys will support this.
Yep.
Try to get this
And
done.
there still will be a tax lien on it then to sell?
No, it'll be abated, so it'll be abated. There's another auction that's being to be advertised. I think Jessica Brown.
To get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yours.
Hopefully you have it, have $1, $2 a minute.
So,
I'm just making sure that if we abate this, there's still a portion on it to be able to have the tax lien on it, to be able to auction it off. We're not abating everything, because if we abate everything, then there's nothing to sell at the sheriff's auction. If I'm understanding correctly.
That's my opinion. Yeah, typically, but.
Do you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
So that's my question. What is the process of the sheriff's sale? Who does that? You?
No,
Sheriff's office. No, but I mean, who puts it together and
On
presents it?
delinquent
and
mobile homes,
presents it? Okay.
there's a distress warrant issued against them, given to the sheriff's office. They try to collect. If they can't, then they do a public auction.
We have to advertise for that.
Yeah, yeah.
Jessica,
And
yes.
then if somebody bids on it, the sheriff gives the party a sheriff's bill of sale
So what is this
to
process?
transfer the title.
Because that's what was asking me at Pringle, is what would it take, what's the time frame? Because they want to clean it up, the city of Pringle. They just want to know what the process is and.
Basically, we had to start all over again, so probably 3 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, we're past our time frame, so we had to return that distress warrant through your office. But Tracy, I think, can speak more than I can about this, but I assume that there has to be some type of financial thing to issue a distress warrant for you.
Yeah, so at this point, I wouldn't take any action to abate anything. You could maybe take action that if it doesn't sell for whatever, that you agree you abate the excess or
Do we
something.
abate a contingent on it selling to Pringle?
No. I
Because they're not gonna bid on it. Tony
No.
Boggs is afraid.
I know, well, so, I mean, there's a couple avenues, if they come in, so you could make a motion that the distress warrant go forward, that if it doesn't sell to meet whatever the required tax efficiency amount is, that it would be brought back before you and that you would agree to abate the remainder of that. So if they came in and bid $1 on it, that gives them the title or the deed. But they gotta bid at least $1.
Right,
But-
and they're
Yeah,
fine with
but
that.
then, so you're committing to that you're gonna abate anything in excess of whatever it sells for and what the tax lien is.
Why can't we abate everything but $1?
Well, that's kind of what we're trying to do now.
I know, I'm just saying,
We
save
can't
it,
do it.
saving up.
See, their concern is they're gonna be responsible for the taxes that are owed on it, and it's
I
doom and
mean, you
gloom.
could, you can abate all the way down to whatever, and if it sells for more, it sells for more.
Well, let's do it.
Yeah, there's a couple,
Save
I
another
mean, there's
meeting.
different avenues. There's also avenues where,
What's the
So if we
quickest
leave-
revenue avenue for us to get this done?
probably for, go ahead.
I was just gonna say though, if you abate it to $1, get this out there. If you abate it for $1 and someone comes in and bids $50, that $49 goes back to the owner.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's
Well,
fine,
they didn't
yeah.
bid it, it's falling apart. I
I'm
mean,
gonna tell you
No,
what.
I just want that to be out there.
Anybody bids $50 on that thing, they need a ride to Yankton.
Well, and one of the, I mean, I can't imagine anybody wanting to go in and bid on it that's not gonna just come, that's not the property owner or the town to come down and tear it out. You always run that risk. If somebody comes in and says, heck, I'm gonna get this dilapidated trailer for $10. Well, it may not cure the town of Pringle or the property owner's issues then, because now you have a different owner. The county has no obligation or no, remedies concerning that new owner, and it's still sitting on somebody's property and it's still a nuisance for Pringle.
We've already tried to sell it twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With no
There's one other
interest.
potential problem. That trailer was just brought to me, so I just took the value down to 0, which is 27.
Which you would.
So probably the cleanest is for you guys to abate it down to $1, so that's the minimum amount.
Yeah,
And,
so
and then they're satisfying that requirement.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion to abate $364.40
Second.
Motion
on
by
parcel
Mark,
015003.
second by Craig. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same.
And I'll waive fees on the sale.
Yeah,
Okay.
cool. Whatever.
Thanks.
That's a lot of work for a
I
dog.
work for $1. Yeah,
Listen, I think they'll be delivering to your house next week.
All right. I've heard Hartshorn has some places around.
Yeah, right. You got one that'll match it, if you wanna deal with it. I got an owner that won't.
Crazy horse marathon.
Request permission to place 2 porta potties on Custer County lot at 4th and Washington Street, October 2nd through the 5th, 2026.
Who took the petty interest?
Motion by Mark, second by Mike. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same.
And that motion did include pending insurance. I think they always give us a waiver. Pretty sure.
Raffle request.
Raffle request for Custer Rotary Club, ticket sales to run September 1st, 2026 through April 30th, 2027. Prize includes 8K grand prize with proceeds to be used for scholarships, CHS annual fundraiser.
Anything more on it, Tuesdays?
We are lining it up to coincide with the Kentucky Derby. It's gonna be at the Beacon, $100 a ticket. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I encourage you all to buy a ticket and show up. Maybe in your floppy hats.
That's what I was gonna say.
You can win a lot of stuff, including $8,000.
Probably a free mint julep.
It's a brand new fundraiser we're trying.
Okay.
Motion by Mike, second by Mike. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, the same.
You do not have to be present.
Jason, what is your position on this deal?
We just give it.
You give $1 every time.
That's right. That's a big, big shakedown.
Yeah.
Rules of library.
Yeah, I'm just coming before you today. It didn't get on our annual brochures earlier in the year, but I am requesting that the Hermosa Library be closed on August 7th so that they can participate in the Custer County Fair. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Need a motion?
Yes, please.
Motion by Craig, second by Mike. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Mike, you just gave somebody a day
Day off. Yeah, wait a second.
I was gonna ask. County nurse.
When somebody wants to come in and get a book at.
They're gonna be, they can go down to the Custer County Fair, support down there, and they can support the books.
Okay, yeah, that's usually good.
So they don't really get a day off.
They're not, they will be working, they'll be earning their butter.
There you go. You gotta feel better about
Changing their location.
They're just changing the location. They're only getting butter. Okay, and then,
Oh, we did okay.
and then I just wanted to keep you guys apprised of some, action at the library. Earlier this year, I had applied for a Libraries Transforming Communities grant through the American Library Association, and we were awarded $10,000 to go towards accessibility improvements. And so from conversations with people that use the library, there's an issue with the accessible parking where it's currently at, where you would have to get out of your car, get into the path of traffic to get on the little up ramp. And so I secured funding so that we can help lay new concrete so that it would be within the curve access. So I am working with Joe to coordinate with this project, but I just want to let you guys know that we got money and we're helping our community.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So,
yes.
weren't you guys involved in basically social or something recently?
Yes, so on Monday, we planned a program to go up to the assisted living because July 20th was as close as we could get to National Ice Cream Day. And so we had over 40 people up there, socializing with the residents up there and just having a good time. So,
The ice cream.
with that,
Horatio's donated.
and
ice cream.
Horatius donated a tub of ice cream, so it was good all around. We hope to do.
Sure, I've been hearing a lot about it.
I'm hoping to continue doing those kind of outreaches to our assisted living.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Emergency management.
Morning, everyone. Just to kind of add on to where Derek went with stuff out the fire last night. We did have a fatality fire from Highway 36 west of Custer yesterday evening. I was over there as well as Jim. Had a really good response to it from both Custer and Pennington County. Sad to see, and the person who passed away in the fire was actually related to some of the firefighters from Black Hawk. So, but a really good job by everybody. Sheriff's Department and everybody else who showed up for it. So, with that, I'll move into the items that I have. First item is to approve the chairman's signature on the Kelly MPD single signature forms, form we sign every quarter for the reimbursement of wages and benefits.
Motion by Mike, second by Mike. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
All right, so for the next item, we've got the countywide burn ban on the agenda, and we decided to put it on for the summer. On Monday, the Forest Service will be going to their stage 2 restrictions throughout the entire Black Hills. Aaron helped me change the wording in the resolution so that it meets more their requirements of the Forest Service, what they're requiring in their level 2 restrictions, as well as some additional stuff, and we addressed ordinance 20. Spoke with agency personnel as well as fire departments and stuff, and another discussion item came up additionally about when to enact the burn. We can vote on it today. If my recommendation is to put the burn ban back in place, but to have it go into effect on Monday, the same day as the Forest Service burn ban will go into effect. What that'll do for us is give us a little bit of time to get it out to the public, that we're going to be putting it in place again. And hopefully that takes a little bit of load off the volunteer fire departments, because what this will do, and it did last time as well, we're going to have, fire departments are going to get weakness. They're going to have a lot more workload placed on them because people will be making phone calls. So the recommendation was brought up to me last night. Could you guys consider doing it on Monday? And I know that it was brought up last thing, and I talked with a couple of the other officers from the other departments that were over there as well last night for the fire. And I think it would be a good idea if we put the burn ban in place, but have it go into effect on Monday, if that works for you. It needs to go into place one way or the other. We're not going to get rain. It's not going to make any difference anymore. The grass is cleared out. Fuels are at record dry levels. The energy release components is one of the things they measure fire intensity by, are in the 98th percentile, at record high levels in certain locations throughout the place. It just needs to happen. None of us think lightly about it because it affects a lot of people and a lot of people's businesses and stuff. And we have to look at trying to reduce that risk, and putting the burn ban in place is what helps us to reduce that risk. With that,
It's super dry, so I'd say we make it a fun Monday.
Yeah, and I'm all good with that. Did we, last time when we adopted it, did we agree that once we get to a point where we don't need it, that between you and Jim, you take it off? We don't have to come back to another meeting to remove it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember doing that. Did we get that?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I thought that we did when
That's how we did it.
when we rescinded
Well,
it.
well,
When we had the meeting.
when we put it on, we can't make it that it can be rescinded by,
Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion to put it on Monday.
well, you want to read, do we need to read? it?
Yeah, I can read through, and then that way you can see the adjustments that we did as well to it. So I'll read through the whole thing, and then we'll have to sign the resolution number. Or
You want to get it?
I don't know if we put the same one on it or what, but.
Well, we're just amending it.
Well, we can rescind that one.
Rescinded that one, do we have to do another resolution?
I think we should do it.
Yeah. No problem.
And we've changed the language too.
Yes, we did change the language on it as well. So, whereas fire conditions in Custer County, Ohio pose danger to public safety, health and safety, and whereas the Board of County Commissioners hearing commission has the authority pursuant to SCCL 7-8-2018 to prohibit or restrict open burning after consultation with local fire official, law enforcement officials in order to protect the public health and safety, and whereas the safety of the residents of Custer County the general public is a priority of the commission, and whereas the commission has consulted with local fire officials, law enforcement officials concerning the need to prohibit or restrict open burning within the county and has determined it necessary for the immediate preservation of the public health and safety to adopt prohibitions and restrictions in open burning. Now therefore let it be resolved, the Board of Custer County Commissioners hereby imposes a ban prohibiting open burning within Custer County in order to protect the health and safety of the residents of Custer County and general public. Be that further resolved for the purposes of this resolution. Should have my group. Okay, so for the purposes of this resolution, open burning shall include the following: any outdoor fire, including but not limited to campfires, burn piles, burn pits, burn barrels, warning fires, charcoal grill fires, and prescribed burns. Devices that are fueled by gas or liquid fuel that can be turned on or off and are in an area that is barren and cleared of any flammable materials within 3 feet are allowed. Fireworks is defined by and described in SDCL 34-37 and any other explosive or pyrotechnic devices. Smoking except within an enclosed vehicle or building. Welding, operate any acetylene or open flame torches, and using grinders, chop saws, or other tools that produce sparks, except when conducted inside an enclosed private shop or business with appropriate fire safety precautions. Be further resolved that no person possessing a burn permit issued by the state of South Dakota shall cause any fire to be instigated in accordance with said permit while this open fire ban is in effect. Be further resolved that violations of this open fire ban are subject without limitation to the penalties identified in Custer Ordinance 20 and all other applicable county, state, and federal laws. Be further resolved this county ban shall take effect immediately upon passage by the commission, and be resolved that this open fire ban shall be in effect or rescinded by the Board of County Commissioners.
Just a question. Sure, is this all, since we had it on the agenda, Tracy, but since it didn't have a number, and we didn't have
So you can't act on the amended resolution today because it's not on the agenda as an action item. The way you have it on the agenda, it's a discussion item.
Yeah, okay.
You could, because the old resolution has already been adopted, you can, because that's you can take it on, take it off. So you could do that under the agenda today, but you can't,
Yeah,
you
we
can't
can't.
amend the
That's what it is.
resolution as it
Okay,
is without
that's-
it being a standalone item.
So we more or less have to, in my opinion, have a special meeting at some point. So.
Sorry, guys.
Well, I was gonna say, I was thinking about that, like, we
Yeah,
can't.
you can't, you don't have it noticed. Yeah.
You can still do your old one and have your special.
Well, the
meeting
old
and-
one just has problems in it, so.
Better than nothing.
Well, we not even put it on till Monday.
We have a special meeting Friday.
You want to make it Friday?
Make Steve read it again.
Make me read it again? Yeah. Actually, it's your turn.
Okay. The resolution is 2026-12. Just so we-
Okay.
So we need,
I mean, we can.
With the resolution.
You want to post it and have a call-in meeting on?
well, yeah, anybody can show up.
Right here, Monday. We do Monday morning as well. Other way.
I'd say just get it done Friday.
Friday,
Okay.
what time do we wanna do Friday?
I don't care, I'm open Friday, so.
Want to do 8 AM again, or?
It's fine. I'll be in my chair.
Okay.
People till then?
We'll keep it till then. Well, yeah, we. We'll just love to get an agenda.
No problem.
I know it takes 3 of us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Second reading of approval of ordinance number 27.
Okay, again, this is the second reading and putting up for approval ordinance number 27, which has to do with the Senate Bill 96, which technically just have to read the title of this thing, but due to the importance of it and the public interest, I think I'll just read the whole thing. It's not very long to get it out there to the public. This is ordinance number 27, an ordinance imposing a county gross receipts tax and a use tax for Custer County, South Dakota. Be it ordained by Custer County, South Dakota. Section 1, purpose. The purpose of this ordinance is to provide additional needed revenue for Custer County, South Dakota by imposing county gross receipts tax pursuant to the powers granted to the county by the state of South Dakota by SDCL 10-52B entitled County Option Retail Sales and Service Tax for Property Tax Reduction and acts amendatory thereto. The purpose of the county gross receipts tax is to provide property tax relief on the county property tax levy for all property classified as owner occupied. All monies collected by the county from the gross receipts tax must be deposited into a property tax reduction fund, which is hereby created. Section 2, effective date and enactment of tax. From and after the first day of January 2027, there is hereby imposed as a county gross receipts tax upon the privilege of engaging in business, a tax measured by 1/2 of 1%, that's 0.5%, on the gross receipts of all persons engaged in business within the jurisdiction of Custer County, South Dakota, who are subject to the South Dakota Retail Occupational Sales and Service Tax SDCL 10-45 and acts amendatory thereto. Section 3, use tax. In addition, there is hereby imposed a gross receipts tax on the privilege of use, storage, and consumption within the jurisdiction of the county of items purchased from and after the 1st of January 2027 at the same rate as the county gross receipt tax upon all transactions or use, storage, and consumption which are subject to the South Dakota use tax SDCL 10-46 and acts amendatory thereto. Section 4, collection. Such tax is levied pursuant to authorization granted by SDCL 10-52B and acts amendatory thereto, and shall be collected by the South Dakota Department of Revenue in accordance with the same rules and regulations applicable to the state sales tax and under such additional rules and regulations as the Secretary of Revenue of the state of South Dakota shall lawfully prescribe. Section 5, interpretation. It is declared to be the intention of this ordinance and the taxes levied hereunder that the same shall be interpreted and construed in the same manner as all sections of the South Dakota Retail Occupational Sales and Service Tax SDCL 10-45 and acts amendatory thereto, and the South Dakota Use Tax SDCL 10-46 and acts amendatory thereto, and that this shall be considered a similar tax except for the rate thereof to that tax. Section 6, county administrative fees. There shall be allocated from the property tax reduction fund established herein amounts necessary to implement this ordinance in the amount of 2% of all monies deposited in the property tax reduction fund during the first year of implementation and $20,000 per year thereafter. Section 7, penalty. Any person failing or refusing to make reports or payments prescribed by this ordinance and the rules and regulations relating to the ascertainment and collection of the tax herein levied shall be subject to all such collection remedies authorized by SDCL 10-45 and acts amendatory thereto, SDCL 10-46 and acts amendatory thereto, and are hereby authorized for the collection of these taxes by the Department of Revenue. Section 8, severability. If any provision of this ordinance is declared unconstitutional or the application thereof to any person or circumstances held invalid, the constitutionality of the remainder of the ordinance and applicability thereof to other persons or circumstances shall not be affected thereby. Dated this 22nd day of July 2026, Custer County, South Dakota.
And then and the fees on there, was there fees for the county as well?
That was the 2% for the first year and the 20,000 for each year.
Or just the managing of it in the state, they have their own set on there as well.
Correct. That's built into the.
Does anybody have anything at all to say on it at all, or?
So this goes back to the state, they manage it, and then they're supposed to disperse it back to the county?
Yes, we have to have our own bank account to set that money in. It's gonna come twice a month from what I was told from the state, just the other day.
Yes.
So they're still managing it.
They keep any fees, which also I was told, because I found out that the cities also pay a fee for their management of their sales tax as well, and they said it will be the exact fee that the state cost them to collect it and everything, so.
Okay, but what I'm getting at is, it gets paid through the county, but it goes to the state manages it, and then the state's gonna reimburse it?
Because it's the same way all sales tax, even to the cities happen. I'm sure you do, I do.
No, I
fill it out, and then they divvy, it's kind of like the property tax. We receive it, we divvy it out, type same deal there. So.
But it doesn't go into some major fund that every county, they've created an account that all counties are going into, and then they're gonna try to separate this out. It will be a Custer County alone
We'll
account.
hold the money here in our own separate bank account.
Okay.
Yep. So whatever we receive through Custer County, go to the state, whatever fees that the state takes will take off, come here, and then we hold it to go to offset the property tax.
Because I know the path of all of this wasn't real clear leading up to this, so I just.
They're still looking into it, because I even asked the question about fuel. I didn't know if gas stations or not, and they were even going to check, and I have not received, I just seen if I'd received anything back, because part of it was they said an excise tax there, so they didn't know if it was or not, but I was supposed to get information back on that.
So you were asking about the administrative fee. So the ordinance that we have, Pennington County had put in a 2% local level administrative fee. We don't know what the state's fees are gonna be. That's something you can change, you can take out. The original form from the state doesn't have that in there. But if you want to set the fee, this would be the time to set it, or you can take it out and you can change it down the road.
And that way, even if it's on there, if we find out that there's really no cost to us, we can leave it on there without using it, correct? You can just.
Well, the ordinance says you are taking it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you can
you amend this?
You could do it for, say, the first year, I suppose, and say,
Right.
find out it's
You could amend it, determine.
amended,
yeah.
take it out.
Or you could, or if you didn't want to put it in the first year and you were finding out that it was becoming, there was a need to collect a fee because of the time and whatever, then you could add it in later, whatever your preference is. But I just wanted to point out that's not part of the standard form that came from the state.
And that's something that Pennington County was putting in there.
Right, Pennington County put it in, Meade County does not have it in theirs. So I think Meade's the only one's really adopted it so far.
This would take effect January 1.
January 1, it's the 27th.
And it only affects owner-occupied.
To begin with, and then if we get if we do that one, fill that cup up, then we can go to the other ones. If is a big word there. I would make a motion to approve the second reading.
Motion by Mike, second by Mike. I might add, this was brought about a lot with the conversations I had with our governor to try to help Custer County specifically. And I think the wording of this is incredible because not every county is going to vote for this because they don't have, a lot of them don't have enough tax base for it to even make a difference. But Custer County, it really makes a difference. And the governor, I think, did a tremendous job in listening to us and providing us. I say it's a good thing for Custer County.
And the state, they actually called me to ask if we were doing it because they heard, I think it was because our meetings were a day or two off of everyone else's meeting in Pennington, that they heard they were doing it, but they hadn't quite heard. So they called me and said, "Are you guys doing it?" I'm like, "We already had our first reading, we're doing our second reading." So they were excited too, because like you said, it was kind of based around us a lot.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same.
You could send me in the report, just run the.
No, it's- So make sure the dates are right.
Okay, HVAC.
Oh, for Joe.
The newest update is.
It's cool. It's cool.
Great job, Joe. Friday, July 10th, we had a meeting with Custer Dean. Bob Brown brought a couple of reps here.
commissioners, Kendall, Lindy, and Buskell were present. Bob, their opinion was to, basically, they thought it was best to keep the units outside, move them outside, but if they said we could also move them inside if we looked at some temp control louvers and like ductwork to flow, get better air in there. Then we talked about, instead of cove heat, they suggested putting electric strips in the fan unit and then electric heat strip in our air exchange instead of cove heat. They also suggested not doing a roof over the units out there for hail if we move them outside, but instead do hail guards on them. I think that's pretty much what the gist of the meeting was.
Yeah, we just basically coming down to, do we want them inside or outside?
So Bob's waiting for us basically to make a decision. The other thing is, you guys had asked me to get a bid on just to see what the basement unit would cost to replace versus repair. So JM is still working on that, waiting for their reps. It's a little complicated because this system, you can run heat and air conditioning at the same time. So it's not the same as just having a mini split where it just does heat or just does cool. You could run one unit on heating, one unit on air conditioning. So the piping is different than just a standard mini split system. So it gets a little more complicated.
Was there any kind of estimate on the heat strips?
No, he was just, I mean,
kind of a basic deal. That used to use all kinds of, get that cold air. Call emergency. The red light on your thermostat comes on. You need to spin.
So probably cheaper than coke.
Probably, yeah, I mean, it's a really good idea.
and currently when it gets cold, we don't have heat coming out of our system. Then I have to go turn the air exchanger off because all it does is bring cold air in. So we have no airflow in the building when it gets cold. So this would have heat strips in the units to hopefully get us heat during that cold snap, plus add heat to the air exchange, so I wouldn't have to turn that on.
The only fear I have of putting them outside is everything that would take place, putting them there. I mean, I still have nightmares about the shed that we got up at Search and Rescue. So I don't know what engineering and everything would take place up there, so, or up here.
And we have two sides, people thinking it'd be better outside, some people think it'd be better inside, so I don't know how to determine that. You got professionals saying, having different opinions on it. I don't know that any of them are right or wrong, I think they're all valid, really.
Usually keeping them inside, you gotta get air to them. So their exhaust air, it's going out, somewhat warmed up. In my eyes, it should be returned back into that room. For those louvers closed in the winter time.
When it gets real cold.
When it gets real cold.
Yeah.
So. But if we're gonna put them outside, we really shouldn't move them. You know, then only one of them saying put a roof over them, but if you put a roof over them, might as well keep them inside.
We'd have to probably beef up the structure anyways that they'd be sitting on.
Yeah, that'd be on the bearing walls. I don't know how that was engineered. Some sort of deck engineering built and set up there. So.
Well, Pennington County, Monday's courthouse was closed because there was no air. They shut the whole place down for the whole day.
It's still closed on Monday. Yeah, it was closed last Friday and it was still closed now.
They've had a tough run.
Yeah, they got hacked too. Yeah.
I mean, we still gotta keep the ball rolling maybe quicker than, because eventually we're gonna get caught behind.
So other than Jam kind of getting us some numbers for replacing versus fixing the basement one, I mean, the rest, like Custer Heating is just kind of waiting for you guys to kind of decide what process we want to do. And then we got to decide if we're just asking some people to bid it, if it's going to stay under that $100,000 possibly, or if not, we're going to have to proceed with it.
So Custer Heating was actually with the subs getting some quotes.
They were looking at it.
Yeah.
Custer Heating and Jam were the only two that are interested in the work. Like Custer Heating was one or two units at a time as they go out, like we talked about. Which doesn't want any part of these, put his 2 cents in.
Yeah. Well, we just gotta keep it on the agenda. So we get something hammered out here.
Okey-doke.
Not doing enough for you, Joe?
What's that?
Not doing enough for you, or you just?
Really didn't do much for you.
Yeah.
So Jam's put some number together for you, we gotta replace.
He's waiting to hear from his reps. Like I said, it's a complicated, because it's the VRF, or VRD, whatever it is. Because, you can heat and cool, so there's valving in there. So,
That was those, correct me if I'm wrong, that was the line sets that had to be removed and replaced.
yeah,
They're kind of a circular.
if you're gonna just do a standard mini split where you go either heat or cool, but,
Yeah.
but right now, you have one office has heat on, the other one has cooling on, if they're on the same unit, that's a much different type of piping.
Right.
Involved.
So the good news, what we found out last week, was our line's got 410A on, our 410A, okay? That's gone by the wayside, but the new refrigerant and oil is the R454, which is compatible as long as you flush the line and everything, so that's good. Good.
Well, the good news is we're not spending $4 million.
Good news is we're not gonna spend $4 million in the end, we don't have to break out all the lines. So there's a couple that will have to come out. But
I guess we'll see what the quote says when it comes.
And that's just for that basement.
Yeah, that'll be the start of it.
yeah, that's one that's up here, right? The units up here for the basement.
Well, all the units are up here, but
So he's quoting it to replace it in the,
that, and then downstairs in the basement, evidence room, and then by the elevator on first floor. Those are the units that are on it.
Okay. Did we draft the letter to Blackfield Electric?
I think that was put on the agenda to assign me to do it. I think that was, we couldn't do it. But
so Mark and I talked about this yesterday. I did visit with, Bob and Casey down at the Argyle Fire Department last week. That they're just on everything, made some phone calls, talked to Black Hills Energy, actually finally Casey, Kelsey called me back yesterday. And it sounds like they're being, very easy to work with. Bob Fisher last night told us, yeah, they've come around 100%. So Kelsey, Black Hills Energy believes that if you go through the air, which should be fine, set some poles on the lines to that fence line right there on the south side Argyle Loop, right across from the fire department, it'd probably end up costing nothing. The fire department. So then we gotta get it across the road and where the transformer sets over those things. So that's probably an expense they're looking at. So $3,000 or $4,000 maybe. So I'm not sure. It's the new homeowner will be up next week. Kelsey's gonna visit with him. He sounds like he's a great guy. He wants to work with the fire department. Doesn't want to be a thorn on anybody's side. So we'll probably know more next week about it. So I would suggest we don't draft a letter right now and see where things fall. Like I said, I talked to Bob Fisher last night. He said they've been very accommodating, and he thought the survey was done.
Oh,
So.
Good.
it was a little disappointing that they didn't just jump on this and let the go and, sign this one over to co-op, but
Yeah.
we're here where we're at, and I guess.
Right now, I don't think, it's really hardly worth.
Yeah.
Completed to.
Well, it's a lot better news than we had.
It is good news,
Yeah.
yeah. Now, whether it plays out, we'll see. I mean, that homeowner, power poles out there, anyways, that homeowner, wants it in the ground, they want power poles, we may have an issue, but if they're willing to string it to 260 yards, about 800 feet of it, so. They're almost.
Okey-doke.
We'll be on top of it.
Mail calls.
We received two. The first one, an invitation to Black Hills Work Foundation Annual Gala to be held October 2nd, 2026.
And I still don't have a good enough suit for this, so.
And the other one was a thank you letter from CASA for financial investment for 2026.
Way out of my league.
Meeting schedule.
Well, we got one Friday.
Yeah, Friday.
Yeah. Oh, that's that one that comes to Timbuktu.
No, this is us.
This is the
Oh,
firefighter.
okay.
No, that was last week.
Was it last week?
Yeah, we missed it.
We missed it.
Well, actually, I never got any emails or anything, so I'm not sure it happened. You never got it.
I didn't either. Did you, Terry, at all? I didn't either.
Okay, so we won't.
Nobody responded.
Nobody showed up to Timbuktu.
Andy is,
Since
yeah,
again,
I looked. So that's why I was surprised last
I
night.
didn't see anything. I don't know why it was in my phone.
Elections on the 28th.
Yes, everybody vote, vote, vote. Right, Leanne?
That's right, get out there.
And that's all I have.
Great, meeting reports.
So we had the, HVAC meeting with Joe. Did the Argyle Fire Department, met with the chief and Bob down there. Every gold several days. Yesterday, FAA flew in from Minneapolis, Bismarck. One of our engineers meeting Hunt at the airport. There's a dozen of us, Brendan and I drove around. It was a very positive meeting. We're looking at hopefully construction somewhere on the 2030 area, so we'll see how that flies. And then went to Governor Larry Roden's meet and greet at the brewery this afternoon, so good, very positive.
Good. Mike?
Well, I can remember that I did the HVAC meeting and look at my calendar this morning. See where
I remembered out the doors.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went, I had a fair board meeting and it went good. The Quonset building has been moved. And they were gonna start.
it's still on the property.
Huh?
It's moved, it's still on the property.
Yeah, it's still in sight.
It's looking for a new home.
The guy that was gonna take it to Mobridge or wherever, Martin, he sort of backed out, so.
We're not gonna be in the same deal.
So if you wanna build it,
It sounds like there's a lot of people interested.
I think there's probably gonna be, they're gonna be trouble.
No, especially somebody that's
That's what we
close,
thought about the
ranchers.
So like,
Right down
Right,
the
everybody
road.
wanted me?
yeah, it was just a random.
You just had one, yeah, one of that thing.
Yeah, I guess they had a weed board meeting and everything's going good. So I don't even think the weeds are growing that long. I've never, it's been years since it's been this dry.
Even the weeds are struggling.
Oh, everything. So is it just burning up?
The rabbits mice are doing good.
I don't think so. You gotta have cover. There's no cover.
I've heard Mark's been taking some on to raise yourselves.
So, but anyway, yeah, we're in trouble. Our stream, we have that duck race every year at the ranch. We're gonna have a duck race, but it's gonna be modified.
Wheels?
Yeah, wheels.
We're gonna put the ducks in a stock tank and they can reach in and grab a duck. The creek is too low and it's probably not real clean to get in.
Hazard for the ducks.
Yeah, so we didn't want the kids in the creek. So we're still gonna have the duck race, but it's gonna be, I don't know, we're in trouble. If our creek goes completely, it's never been completely dry on our ranch. It's dry up above us and it's dry down below us. But if it dries up to the ranch, then we'll have to sell cows completely. Because we just don't have water otherwise. So it's tough down there. And we absolutely, and we live in the bottom and we didn't get any aid. So if we didn't get any aid, the people that live out on the prairie definitely didn't get any. So it's tough. These ranchers are going to be hurting. The only positive thing is the price for the cattle is up. But if you can't run cattle, it's not a good thing. So one time I could really make money if I could just keep the place full of cows. It ain't gonna happen. So, but anyway, so we have to reach out to our landowners there's some government programs available, but they aren't gonna be enough. But, it's just tough. We gotta make it through this drought. We've had them before. If you look back in the 1930s, before global warming, most of the records were broke in 1936. Hottest summer and coldest winter. So look forward to the winter. Michael, meetings.
HVAC, I went to, and then search and rescue, and then, Friends helped us with a new drone, didn't they?
Yeah.
They did, they got a new drone that they're playing with to go into buildings and stuff like that to look around. They got some other things they're looking at, they're probably gonna look at trying to fundraise Friends of Search and Rescue for some projects. Custer City Council, of course, we're dealing with the sheriff's contract, which we discussed earlier, and that's most of it.
Cause the drone's cheaper than it used to be, huh?
Well, they are, but this is a small drone. It's about this size, and everything's enclosed in it with bumpers. So it's made to fly into enclosed spaces. So they could fly from outside into the building and go through the whole building. And if it bumps into something that flips over, it can flip itself back upright, fly again. And it'll be used for confined space rescues or places that we can't get into that safely, or for the sheriff's office side, like when we had the burglars that held up in that three-sided barn. I guess they had four sides in that barn down in the Argyle area. We could have flown that in there and seen what they were up to.
Can you shoot them with it?
That's classified.
What?
Let's see, we did a round of interviews for dispatch. One day we did a round of deputy interviews. Went to city council last night, or Monday night. Maybe more, but that's what I'm thinking.
Okay, anything else needs to be brought up? Guess we'll go to executive session. I need a motion.
Move to go into and out of executive session for DCL 125-24 for contracts.
Motion by Mike, second by Mike. All in favor, say aye.
Have a wonderful week. That'd be great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Riley.
Be on that side a little bit later.
Rest of
the day, I'm not sure, honestly. Tomorrow we'll make it happen.
Where was the number backwards?
Okay.
Wasn't
When you get over, well, just when you get over that way, I want to visit with you on some other stuff, not even county related. Just,
I thought she was on.
they sent a proposal to me.
Huh?
I thought she was on the